session. This is actually session number two. I'm stoked to be doing this. I'm going to give it just a minute to see if anybody jumps in here. Um, but I'm stoked to be doing this. It's, as I said, Writers Lab workshop number two, session number two. And in this session, I'm definitely going to work on a joke that a friend sent me, a fellow comedian sent me, and was asking for some insight on this. I'll share that message with you. And then I haven't worked on the joke, but I'm going to work on it today just in real time. Wanted to save it for this. And then I'm going to share another rhetorical device, just like I did in session number one. So that's going to be kind of part of these. I'm going to share different devices, whether the rhetorical devices, logical devices, things like that, as I do these live streams. And then I might work on a joke of my own. And if anybody else is around, um, then we'll see what happens with that. If anybody else brings anything as well. But I'm looking forward to jumping into this, and I'm going to get started in here in just a minute. Um, don't expect a lot of traffic here, but that's cool. It's early on with this, and just trying to grow it and get it going. And I wrote a blog post this week about um, uh, for the last like 20 plus years, I've been blogging and podcasting and thinking in public. And that's really all this is right here. Just more thinking in public. You may be watching and disagree with my methods, my tactics, everything I say and do. That's fine. You're welcome to your own process. This is what I'm doing, but I'm just pulling the curtain back and thinking publicly, being creative in public. And anytime you do that, there's going to be haters and people who criticize, and that's just part of it, I guess. But so let's get going. This is, as I said, the Joke Writers Lab session number two. And if you go over to michaelhalcomb.live, I have the Joke Writers Lab course that you can find there, and it's under the social section. It's also on Udemy. It's about 4 hours of content. I also have the Comedian's Memory Lab. You can get that course on my website from Udemy. So check those out. I have the Joke Writers Lab private Facebook group. It's a small group at this point, where people sometimes post premises and jokes to workshop, just like we're doing here. And yeah, so check out michaelhalcomb.live. You can subscribe to that daily comedy blog, and the podcast drops there twice a week, as well as on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all that. But let's get right into it. I'm going to work on some stuff here, and I'll just start by saying that the rhetorical device of the day is hypophora. Now I'm going to share a camera here, so give me just a second to pull this up. Boom, there we go. And I'll work on this. So hypophora, that's what I want to deal with here today. It's a rhetorical device, and you've probably heard this without even realizing it. If you've ever been to like a sporting event and there've been cheerleaders, you maybe have heard something like, "What do we want? Victory. When do we want it? Now." That's hypophora. Um, it's essentially asking a question and then immediately answering it. It's a cool little rhetorical device, hypophora. And yeah, so that's what I want us to be thinking about, and see if we can get that into a joke today. Hypophora is asking a question, then immediately answering it. So it's not really a rhetorical question. That's a little bit different. This is actually asking a question and giving the answer. You already know the answer. It's kind of like when you're interrogating yourself, but you're really doing this for rhetorical effect. So uh, it can be annoying, like if you're in a conversation with somebody and they keep doing this. Did I want to go to the store? No. Did I want to buy that particular thing? No. Is that what I wanted for dinner? No. They keep asking that. It's like they're interviewing or interrogating themselves. That's hypophora. And this can be worked into jokes. We'll see if we can work it into a joke today, perhaps. um, but it's pretty powerful. It's a great rhetorical device, and I commend it to you. So keep that in mind. And once we get some joke material to work with, we'll come back to it and see if we can work with it. All right. So what I want to do now then is shift to a joke that somebody sent in, and we'll see if we can get anywhere with this. Here's what it says. It says, Michael, I really enjoyed your live stream Z method. If you watched or if you missed episode or session one of these joke writers labs, I showed the Z method in there that I use for writing jokes. You can go back and watch that. He says it gives people trying to write jokes concrete steps instead of staring at a blank page. I particularly liked when you mechanically went through the setup and asked what's the norm, word by word. In that sense, you started with a setup and found a joke. The wife is the airbag. He says, I'm wondering if you do a lecture or live stream going the other way. You start with a funny concept or idea and you reverse engineer a good setup. I have a current idea about, and he gives the idea. Here's the idea: me buying my girlfriend a bike for Christmas online and saving money putting it together myself. But I couldn't get the disc brakes to stop from rubbing. So I finally cracked and took it to a bike shop, which was admitting defeat. The first thing the tech said was, did you put this together yourself? Me thinking that he noticed the brakes were slightly off. Well, how can you tell? The text says the handlebars are upside down. It's a good joke. I like what we got here. He says, I feel this has great joke potential, but I need help better engineering the setup. So yeah, I want to see if we can work this. And I have several methods that I use when I'm trying to write specific jokes. I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you one of the things that I would do in this kind of case where I have a punchline to start rather than starting with the premise. So let's do this. I showed you the Z method last time for writing jokes, right? This is where we have the premise up top, and that's where we start. And then we'll have the assumptions over here that we'd list. Then we'd have our reinterpretation right here, and then we'll have our punch. And I just think that Z is helpful. Again, if you see Greg Dean, he's got a very similar process to this, and I've just pared that down and essentially customized it a little bit. But he's got a lot of great literature out there on this. So that I call that the Z method myself. Well, I have one that when I'm starting with the punchline, it's the Y method. All right, so by the way, I'm writing a book on these joke writing methods. It's going pretty well. I hope to have it out this summer. But here we go. This is the Y method. So obviously, instead of a Z, we're going to have the letter Y. All right. So now, if you've read my blog, my daily comedy blog, or um, if you've watched any of my podcasts where especially part twos where I'm interviewing people, interviewing comedians, and we workshop jokes together, you'll hear me use this a lot of times because they're bringing me the full joke, and then I want to work backwards to try to like build it out, or sometimes even tag it. And this is the method that's like going on in my head, but you'll hear me talk a lot about um, this gap between expectation. So we'll put that here. We have this gap between, I'm going to just circle this, right? So expectation, the gap between expectation and reality. This is huge for me in joke writing. This is predominantly how I think about writing and crafting jokes. What is that gap between expectation and reality? So, for example, in the joke that we had here, we know that the expectation was the ease of being able to save. Well, saving money was one expectation, but the ease of being able to put together a bike by oneself seems like it should be easy, but the reality is it's difficult. And that gap between the expectation and reality is very, very important. I think that's where the humor lives. All right. So a lot of times, if I'm starting with the premise, um, I'll start up here at the top. But if I'm starting with the punchline, I'm just going to work backwards, right? So in this case, we know that the punchline that we're dealing with is the handlebars are upside down. So I'm going to just write that here. The handlebars are upside down. Now, what I need to do, since I'm starting with the punchline here, essentially just work backward. So when I get to here, what I'm doing is I get to here, the sweet spot sort of, is just adding details, detail after detail after detail, and then that's going to help me fill in this gap and discover what the gap is. Now, if we have too many gaps, that can confuse the joke. So we need to land on one gap. Is the issue here that the bike is the expectation is that it's not expensive, and the reality is that is no, that's not it. The expectation is that I'm going to be able to put this bike together myself, and the reality is I can't. So what this joke could use to be to hit a little harder is simply to just fill it in, to add details, and that's what that line working backwards represents. I'm just going to go and fill this in along the way. So we know that in the end the handlebars are upside down, right? That's the joke, and so we're just gonna like at each step um, fill in these details as we go along the way. So for um, one thing that we can do is just focus on the brakes. So we'll have brakes here. So one of the details, the brakes are rubbing. Um, Another is that we could deal with we talk about the discs. These are like premium discs, something like that. We could talk about I'm just going to list out a bunch of things that have to deal with brakes, right? So calipers, the wires. I don't even know what those are called. I'd want to do a little research and looking into that. What about rotors? So essentially, I'm just adding details, and that's what I do to make this joke hit a little bit more. Just backfill it with details. And there's this concept called word smuggling, right? So since we already know the punchline, we also want to pick something that from that punchline to inject back into the setup, that'll allow it to hit a little hard, and that just comes in the details. So we have rotors and calipers and wires and premium discs, and we have the rubbing and so on and so forth. Let's see what else. When I think of brakes, brake pads. You do that. Brake pads, and what else? What are some other things that come when we're thinking of brakes? Well, we can clean the brakes. So we got brake pads. We'll clean the brakes. We can maybe wipe the brakes. I don't know, spray the brakes. And now we got a lot to deal with the brakes, right? So let's add some details of other things. So we'll talk about like adjusting the seat, for example. That's something that you have to do. Maybe the chain. Everybody gets frustrated when dealing with the bike chain. What about? I even got the little bell on, right? And so now we have all these details essentially to just backfill, and maybe we could talk about, for example, something that we've fixed in the past. Maybe we fixed a lawnmower or fixed the car, something like that. And so, what is the gap between expectation and reality now, right? So, if we know all this stuff about bikes, we're checking the discs, the calipers, the rotors. so on. If we've fixed the seat and we've got the little bell on, we obviously know a lot about bikes. And then we have also we've fixed a lawnmower in a car before. The expectation is that like we're kind of a handyman. We can do this ourselves. When the reality is that we're like a bumbling idiot, right? And so that's all I would do. Now I would just write the premise and sort of tell the story here. So I'd say something like, I bought my girlfriend a bike for Christmas, and I ordered it online to save money. Easy. And maybe like that could be a through line, just saying the word easy. Maybe not. We'll see how it goes. I bought my girlfriend a bike for Christmas, bought it online. Easy. Figured I'd put it together myself. Um, I fixed a lawnmower. Easy. I fixed a car. Easy. So I'm assembling this thing and everything's going smooth. I got the tires on. That's another thing we could put here. I got the tires on. I got the seat on. I got it lowered and adjusted to the perfect height. I've got the chain on. I've got it oiled up. Easy. I even got the bell on. Ding, ding, ding. Easy. Right? But after about 3 hours, the brakes just kept rubbing. I couldn't figure it out, so I sprayed down. I sprayed down the brakes. I checked the brake pads. I cleaned the brake pads. I checked the wires. I checked the calipers. I checked the rotors. These were Premier brakes. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And you see, all we've done now is backfill the story, and we've smuggled in this idea of easy because we're a handyman. We know what we're doing. And that was generated really just from starting with the punchline. So then that sets us for our punchline. Finally, I cracked. I took it to the bike shop, which just felt like admitting defeat. I wheel it in. The tech doesn't even touch the brakes. Now we're adding in here. Just looks at it for 2 seconds and goes, "Did you put this together yourself?" And I'm thinking, yeah, you notice I got it together, easy, but the brakes are slightly off. So I'm like, yeah, how can you tell? And he says, uh, points at the front of the bike, the handlebars are upside down. Boom, there we go. And I feel like that works pretty well. And we do all that just from using this Y method, working backwards and filling in the details as we do, acknowledging the gap between expectation and reality because that's where the humor lives. So, boom, we got a joke there. And Chris, that's how I would do it if you're watching or you get to watch this. That's how I would go about working on the joke. Just and maybe I added too much detail there, but just you're right. As you work on the joke, you'll know how much detail is right. But I like the through line of adding easy, 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 um, and then it's word smuggling. It sets you up for really being the idiot when you take the bike in because I guess it wasn't so easy after all. And maybe that's the expect part of the expectation between the gap between expectation and reality as well is that this thing that's supposed to be easy that you expect to be easy in reality is difficult. So maybe that's the more generic or general expectation between or the gap between expectation and reality. So that's cool. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking for that joke. And I'm wondering. So we talked a little bit ago about hypophora. We could maybe try to inject that into this joke if we wanted. Um, and that would maybe add like a punchline in the middle of this along the way. It's where we ask, in this case, we could have, let's just say I'm telling the joke because I'm the one working on it. Like I could ask myself a question about, you know, I don't know, just brainstorming here. Am I, let's see, am I a, am I a great handyman? Yeah. Um, so how we need to punchline this? So we would need to subvert this, right? Am I a great handyman? Yeah, but So actually, I would maybe put this at the end then. After the guy says the handlebars are upside down, and this maybe has a little tag to get a little laugh. Maybe, am I a great handyman? Yeah, but um, not if you ask the bike tech. Or we could even add a little detail. Not if you ask the 16-year-old bike tech at Billy's. I don't know. We'll get specific here. Make him a teenager, which makes us a little more silly. So we've now used hypophora just to tag the joke. Very easy. Um, so we've got the joke itself, and then we've got the tag. Boom. Hypophora. It's a very powerful rhetorical device, and I would commend it to you, as I said before. Um, Another thing, this week I on my YouTube channel I launched a new little video series. It's just joke writing tips, and I got joke writing tip number one up on there, and I talked about surveying your last 2 hours of life because that's where a lot of your comedic material lives. Go check that out. Super helpful advice. I'm gonna keep dropping those. But I may be introducing some of the rhetorical devices and stuff in there as well. But I'll go check those out. So one of the things that I thought I'd do is just work on a joke of my own today as well. Um, and I was gonna uh, take a cliche about. I heard this recently about blood, sweat, and tears. So you guys all know um, that saying, right? About blood, sweat, and tears. Blood, sweat, and tears. So cliche reformation is kind of fun to work with. And if you go to michaelhalcomb.live, scroll down to the Joke Writers Lab, the third one, and it says joke writing exercises under it. Click that link; it'll take you to a page, and you can. It'll just if you click the one that says joke writing from cliches, it'll give you a bunch of random cliche prompts, and you can try to do cliche reformation and work from those. So blood, sweat, and tears, I thought was funny. That's one that I heard recently, and I started to think about could I write a joke using this cliche. So that's what I want to work on here. Um, so let's see. I have the cliche, and we'll do if if you if you wanna if you wanna leave your mark on the world. So it's we're gonna. I'm developing a context in which to use this phrase, right? If you want to leave your mark on the world, you gotta uh, pour your blood, sweat, and tears. Blood, sweat, and tears into it. All right, so so I'm using sort of the Z method on this one. I have my premise, and I just want to reform this cliche. So I got my premise here, and I'm going to go with my assumptions. So what are people assuming when they hear this, right? Maybe I'm talking about sports. That's a context that it's often used in. And maybe just the saying itself means giving it my all or working hard. If you want to leave your mark on the world, you got to pour your blood, sweat, and tears into it. Um, yeah, I think this is really the context being sports, giving it my all, working hard, um, maybe leaving it all on the field. But now I'm going to ask which one of these is like the default assumption. Like when people hear this statement, if you want to leave your mark on the world, you got to pour your blood, sweat, and tears into it. What are they most likely thinking of? Probably giving it my all or working hard, right? So what we're going to do is let's just go with giving it my all. Now we're going to go to reinterpretation. So what I like doing here is if they're thinking that means give it my all, giving it my all, I've got them right in the palm of my hand. I've got them right where I want them. I've led them to that conclusion that they think that's what I'm talking about. Now, what I want to do here is reinterpret the thing, misdirect, so that I can get a punchline. It'll lead me to a punchline. Um, so pour your blood, sweat, and tears into it. That's kind of funny. I think the word pour is really important here. We could have used the word put. Pour is kind of funny to me. So what when I think of pour, right? I think of like, of course, a liquid. Of course, blood, sweat, and tears are all liquids. So um, uh, what are one of those? What do you use to pour? I mean, I guess I think of a cup. I can't think of the word for the. I guess a jar. And now, so the question I can ask myself is, what would I not want to like? In this case, I want to pour my blood, sweat, and tears onto the field or into the activity that I'm doing. So field. What would I not want to pour my blood, sweat, and tears into? Like things that this things that people will be grossed out by. Um this is funny. Getting ideas going. So food or drink um that like if you're at a meal um I was at a meal, this a church meal this Wednesday. We had like a potluck, and we were all having uh this meal together on Wednesday night. It was really good food, but imagine they had like the big chicken legs, not quite the size you see at the Ren fairs or the Renaissance fairs, but maybe about half that size. Is really big chicken legs. They had rice, salad, dessert. So what if I were in a setting like that, a church potluck, and I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into something that was on the table, potato salad. That's kind of funny to me. So in this case, I could say, yeah, I got my joke here. If you want to leave your mark on the world, you got to pour your blood, sweat, and tears into it. Um, that's that's exactly how I ruined the. That's how exactly I ruined the potato salad at the potluck. I'll say at the church potluck. Boom, there you go. Um, so my joke, I'll just write it out all together here. So and sorry for the handwriting, and not sorry. My poor students have to deal with this all the time. So here's the joke. If if you wanna leave your mark on the world, you gotta pour your blood, sweat, and tears into it. All right. All right. Yes, Chris, I see your comment here that easy then becomes a callback opportunity for later in the set, too. Yes, that's perfect, dude. I think you can use that. Switching back to the previous joke we were working on, daddy daughter plus water. Um, Yes. I like that. I won the chili cook off at our local cannibalist meetup. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into it. There you go. I love it. Um, nice. So the one I got here, if you want to leave your mark on the world, you got to pour your blood, sweat, and tears into it. And that's exactly, I like the word exactly. I think that's really fitting here. I don't know why I like it so much, but I guess it adds precision. That's exactly how I ruined the potato salad at the church potluck. So there we go. Got a joke from that. If you want to leave your mark on the world, you got to pour your blood, sweat, and tears into it. And that's exactly, I could emphasize it there. And that's exactly how I ruined the potato salad at the church potluck. And then you know, the eek face there. So, and perhaps if I wanted to try to tag it, I could use the hypophora again. Remember, that's asking a question and immediately answering it. So how would I do that? So basically, just interrogating myself here. I don't know why this thing like zooms in and sometimes let me zoom out. Other times it doesn't let me zoom in or out. I don't know. It's kind of annoying. Um, so uh, I could say something like, "Am I a good Christian?" um, uh, yeah, but not if you ask Barb. Barb's kind of a funny name, but not if you ask Barb, who made the potato salad. There we go. Why are cannibals such good chefs? We got daddy, daughter plus water saying, why are cannibals such good chefs? They put their blood, sweat, and tears into everything they cook. Very good. I like that. Nice. Well done there. So you just see, I got a joke here, and then used the rhetorical device to get a simple tag on it. It might not be the funniest tag or joke in the world, but it's something. And my philosophy when working on jokes is that it's better to get something than nothing. It's better to write something down than write nothing down. The jokes don't have to be the funniest in the world. Also, just a reminder, save these things, right? I'll save this joke in this tag. Who knows when it could become valuable as part of a bit or part of a set or even just as a standalone joke. You never know. I might end up at some chef's event or hosting an event with chefs. Then this could, or at a church, I might have a show. So these are two contexts in which this joke and the tag could fit very well. So save. You never know who's going to contact you. By the way, I got a message on Facebook yesterday from a university. They said they found me online somehow, and then they messaged me on Facebook about coming to MC an all-day event in May for an economic forum. And so we're working through whether it's gonna be a good fit or not. But you never know who's going to reach out to you for some kind of event, and you never know how a certain joke might fit in. So make sure you save all your stuff. I think it's really important to do that. So um, yeah, I appreciate the few of you who've signed on to watch live. Thank you so much for that. Um, I've I always enjoy this, and again, I love doing my thinking out in public like this. Just um, pulling the curtain back and working on stuff live and in real time. To me, it's much better than sort of sitting in my own house and staying in my head and doing everything like privately in my head. I've always put myself out there publicly, and I'm doing that with my comedy journey as well. Some people will hate, so be it, whatever. If you're not paying me, I saw this yesterday from my buddy Oscar. He's a comedian. Said if they're not paying you or supporting you, don't accept their criticism. I love that. Totally agree with that. If they're not paying you or supporting you, don't accept their criticism. Another thing, I'm just kind of going on a tangent here, but if you wouldn't if you wouldn't go to them for advice, don't accept their criticism. I kind of live by that principle, and find it very helpful. So, um, yeah. Oh, you got daddy, daughter plus water. You got a joke to work on. You want to try to work on something real quick? I was getting ready to wrap up here, but I'm down to work on something if you want. Um, or we can work on it next time. Let me know here in the chat. You want to save it for the next live stream, or you want to work on it here right now? What are you thinking? All right. Let me know here. The health department slapped me with a violation because when I cook, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into it. All right, decent, good, nice. All right. Well, hey, no need to apologize for coming late. Everybody's on their own schedule. Got a lot of things going on. Well, Daddy, daughter plus water. Just get in touch with me. Whether it's on YouTube messages or my website or whatever. Send me your premise or your joke, and we'll go from there. We'll do it in the next live stream. But to everybody out there, whether you're watching now or you're gonna watch after the fact, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Check out michaelhalcomb.live, daily blog, daily comedy blog there, bi-weekly podcast, so on and so forth. But this has been the Joke Writers Lab. Check out the Mess Up the Setups podcast as well. Check out my 2 comedy writing courses on Udemy. There's more coming. I got some books coming as well. But I'm going to stop there and say I hope that helps.